probably not a good idea, not a fair idea. For that I would definitely have to start again the whole thing. So. And at one point it really was just slipping through by the hair, so it remains hard in nature. For me at least. Garchomp was one of the Pokemon that yeah, this was one of the it had a very huge random factors that battle against Cyrus in that cave, and I just no. I show you that I tried. I show you the main problem with it. Yeah, that's easily the problem with the Ice Punch. Pretty much everything available at that point has a problem with it. So yeah, I just moved on because I could have recorded like an hour footage, and finally I passed through with sheer luck, because that is real life luck dependent battle. There is all the criticals and the types and the ranges. No, I just skipped that. Lucario is surprisingly good despite lacking any kind of bulk. It's speedy, it has mostly good typing. I only had trouble to remember whether I teached it. I think this was the one. Earthquake. I don't think I did, and my notes I'm flimsy on that part. So I'm sorry for that, but yeah. I think Dick has the same damage, so it could have been pretty much the same. Especially for the later game, when the game don't really have a lot of setup moves. I was surprised because I always have trouble with his float zone. Larry's float zone is very bulky and very speedy and all that kind of stuff. And it's this stupid thingy is just... I didn't have anything that was super effective against it. Maybe there is no move super effective against it or whatever, and I could not swap in anything, so it was really just annoying. And at one point there is, watch out for that, one of these tunnels has a Pokemon that can cast Mean Look. Yeah, I think that's Zubat, so you need regular saves or use Repel. I never found it that important to use Repel. It's not... Emerald is much more problematic. It has much more frequent random battles. So Platinum I just went without triples, and I'm a hoarder, let's call it that. I hoard all the consumables, money, everything. I don't like spending them in video games, especially in these long ones that you can't just reload or whatever. Technically, you could say that you can, I don't know, plant berries for 20 bucks, sell it every day or whatever. That's the point why I consider berries to always accessible. That you can plant it. I won't sit around for a day just to get a stupid lapel berry or whatever. But that's an option. Surprisingly, for the first third of the game, especially until the first gym, including the first gym. Oran berries and that kind of stuff, it's useless, but after that Oran berry becomes very prominent. A lot of Pokemon use that to progress, so don't underestimate it. Citrus berry even comes after you find some Mago berry, which is the ultimate HP berry, so I don't know what is going on that front. Here again you had an appointed partner. Still I avoided whatever I could, considering battles, but I picked up whatever I could, especially to check. Well, I picked up anything I can easily get access, and whatever I picked up, I always used at least one Pokemon to check that yes, it is accessible, it is not hidden behind an optional battle. And you see, Togekiss also cannot learn Sword Stance. Seems very limited. On the other hand, Torterra can learn Rock Polish. I don't know why, but it definitely helps it out at some point, giving it speed, which it desperately needs. But after it uses the Rock Polish, it has to, then it will be overleveled compared to the trainer Pokemon. Yeah, there will be a point, especially that it very early has to consume candies. It very early consumes 7 candies. At the front gate of the Elite Four, Lucario also had to until that Lucario had to consume 3. But against Barry I consumed again another 4, because I just didn't remember if I used with Lucario Earthquake. If I didn't, then I did not need those extra candies, but I said, oh yeah, whatever. I will just eat the candies and buy the bullets, eat the candies and progress that way. When I'm making this video, I actually did not do the Elite Four, and yes, this is already the part where I started to rotate the remaining Pokemon. So you can see it's Lucario, it is Garchomp, it is Torterra, it is Empoleon, it is whatever the evolved form of Gliscor is. I should have a list somewhere. Yeah, Gliscor is the evolved form, and yeah, that's 6. Empoleon, Garchomp, Gliscor, Lucario, Togekiss, and Torterra. The Steel Gym is, if I remember, is pretty easy actually. The Electric Gym was also kind of a joke. This point is again one of the points that you will be out of moves and out of HP, so you just probably with most of the Pokemon I just moved out, came back using all the lifts, elevators. One of the elevators I realized it just helps you to not risk a rotating trainer. It's rotating randomly. Don't think in Platinum you ever find a rotating trainer that is, you know, just goes in like the clock. Clockwise or anti-clockwise, doesn't matter. I hatched all the optional Pokemon I got. You know, they give you eggs. They give you a Riolu and a Togepi egg. So I was carrying them around, because why not? Interestingly, fighting moves don't really come in handy in Platinum, except here. So I didn't really have to rely on Break. That's like the only move that you can distribute, and it's a one-time thing, so it's not really. You don't put it out just without a second thought, but yeah. But here is one of the very annoying part where you have to get the right ranges, get the opponent use the right moves to not just knock you down, and use Synthesis and Sunny Day to heal up what you have to. And I even have to use them at one point because it depends also on the real life daytime or nighttime or morning time, and you need daytime to get the double healing power from this combo. And here it is an interesting fight because you should put down your minions for this one, because then it transforms to two single battles instead of being a double battle. Yeah, annoying, but that's just an extra 5 minutes to go into the nearby town and whatever. And when it comes to that, I did not go for the Mass Sprit and the Split and whatever they did. Lake Guardians, I never cared to catch them. And watch out for this one, because you saw what we did, and between the leader and the previous pair there is another pair, but you can skip them if you use swim. So after the first pair you have to go back again to pick up your minions and use surf by them to avoid the middle battle. That's very easy to forget about it. And yeah, this Thunder Punch is very useful. That was one of the occasions I used the move reminder to get, this. Only the evolved form can learn at level 1, so it's only accessible by the move relearner. Yeah, that snowy part, fortunately they don't really use ice Pokemon, so Blizzard is not very threatening. It will be in the gym. And for that, a couple of Pokemon. The ice gym will be one of the harder gyms. That's again a point where I had to consume candies with certain Pokemon. I think I'll be a lot of them. Gliscor is another phenomenal Pokemon. I don't know how it does it, but as I said at one point, it's actually unrealistic to squeeze it through, but it did squeeze through for me, and I'm very glad it did, because it's one of the more fun Pokemon to use. Very surprising. It's all for what it is. No stats and no pools and whatever. Most of the move pools you will see devolve to the same pool, but that's just life. I always wonder on the land how the fish Pokemon work. It's not very realistic, and they don't have legs or whatever. So, I used Empoleon here. It was, I think, out of rotation. I just pulled it up because I knew that it has a massive chance to pass without problem, and I was right. Well, I didn't want to make like that Cyrus fight where I did one move, I got knocked out, and you don't see the whole fight. But there, every Pokemon was like that. Here, Empoleon passes through without a single, skipping a single beat. But Abomasnow has bulk and it's grass type, so it's resistant to a lot of moves. It causes problem, and the main problem, this one Frostlass is fast as heck, but the Piloswine is the bulkiest, that causes the most amount of problem. And the game, the gym leader actually sets up with this. Abomasnow brings hail and then sends in Frostlass, so consuming candies were inevitable. And then, to the point of the league, only Togekiss was that never consumed a single candy. Otherwise it was like Empoleon only ate one. But Torterra and Lucario ate 7. I explained the situation with Lucario previously. The move pools here not really changing that much, because, you know, there is not much upgrade, and after like the 4th gym, and you, before even you do that, you can go to the Great Marsh. You cannot enter that gym, but you can go all the optional routes, circling back to that other city. And it's the game corner and department store and all of the areas. You can pick up a lot of stuff, including moves. And this one again is you can avoid this being a double battle. Force Palm is very good, causing paralysis all over, so I even did not upgrade it for like ever. Later I will say goodbye to it, but it's a level up, learn, it's okay. You know, move reminder and everything. Cyrus here is working against himself, giving us Master Ball and everything, but I will never use the Master Ball. This is spoiler. And at this point you know what you can do, and you are over leveling these Pokemon. You have a much better chance. Shadow Cloak. I wish that was a reusable DM or move to level up or whatever, especially for Riolu. I mean, like Lucario. Lucario? Yeah, whatever the pronunciation. Because against Barry, you know, needed the space, and because there is a Psychic Elite 4, I was just like, I don't dare to remove that from my move pool. I don't know the ranges, so I just put up as many sword stamps as I could or dared, or just the maximum, because yeah, why not? For the first half of the game I actually I don't use the setup moves much, and I don't usually use very pragmatic Pokemon because those are more interesting for me, so I thought it also increases your speed, but no, that's Dragon Dance. Here, I just wanted to show you this is just random, but yeah, it comes here. But I just didn't want to just reload and position again and whatever. But that's not just the point, this is something I want to show you after this fight. So there will be some extra footage there. I just go run up and down. No, I tried that, wasn't there. And I left this in because it hatched. But the rare candy is what I wanted to show you, because that's like with single hidden rare candies. Usually you don't have to bother with hidden items. DMs are never hidden, and you get elixirs like candies, I mean a lot. There are a lot of candies in the game, like 15 until you get the Elite Four. I used Bulbapedia's walkthrough, and I checked every candy I found. Well, when you get Surf and you can go to that optional very long route, I never checked that one. I just didn't need anything from there. I know there is rare candy there, so I actually should. And when I'm uploading this, I maybe will. But I'm not sure. I usually again stick to a dark type move, and of course Earthquake is mandatory, and same type move. Here I show you that you can't even just talk to them separately, you have to enter between the two. This is the single mandatory double battle for a minimum playthrough. And if I have to use a second Pokemon, I say everything goes, I don't care. So they usually just shoot it down, but sometimes they did some damage or did a yawn or something. I consider that absolutely legit. Especially I didn't know this will be the single mandatory double battle. It is. If I needed something stronger, I could have upgraded my minions, you know. There is a 10 level higher Bibarel somewhere, and definitely some bigger flying types. I mean, something that can learn fly. I totally can direct damage or do a sword sense, but in the end I decided, yeah, there, do a sword sense. These two are annoying, and I'm not sure both nose reflect and light screen. I never checked. Or, you know, you can focus on one to eliminate one of the damage lowering conditions. Whatever you want to call it. And you can't use Earthquake because they are validating and you don't want to hurt your opponent's Pokemon. Not really. you just do your best and hope the partner will cooperate, and it mostly did the right moves, attack the right Pokemon. It was entirely okay. I don't cut out these, but these are, as I said, it's not really relevant. I forget Sword Dance because for this battle I don't need it and it's reusable. You can get another copy from the game corner. I probably dropped the real pack. For the Cyrus fight, you don't need that, but you know, whatever. And the partners don't even have very bad Pokemon, and they have a lot, like 3 Pokemon on your side is very good. I hate when the partner is just there to take up space and make your life harder, or just have one single Pokemon and then you are left on your own devices. No, if it's a double battle, make it a double battle and help me out. I never learned what is really effective against that. Doesn't really matter. And I show you the whole cinematic for the going into the underworld because I think it is cool. By the way, in the emulator this is very resource heavy, so I couldn't really just speed up the whole. And it records in 1 time speed despite I'm playing like 4 times speed. But you actually see in this footage that is 4 times speed. I don't see the reason to speed it up more, so you actually live through the battle times I did in the game. And we are already at the 70th battle and there is only 90 battle in the game. I mean before the Elite Four, and there is no super boss in Platinum, and the post game is locked behind the seeing all of the Pokemon in the national regional deck, so it will not gonna happen. You don't play Platinum post game because it's inaccessible. It's nonsense garbage. As you can see here, my strategy is mostly Sword Stance if I have to against the right opponent, and then Rock Slide on Metrodon. I really didn't want to think about this fight. Yeah, you see, burn, critical, it freeze. So annoying. But in the end you will get a round where you don't get the conditions, the opponent doesn't get the criticals, your moves actually connect because, you know, Rock Slide is like 90% accuracy, which is actually pretty good considering drop moves. Yeah, that was it had a lot of factors and I had to level up. I know I don't think I have to level up by Candy, but it's a mishmash of like 3 different battles with this Cyrus fight for me. And Giratina is officially, if you like check the remakes of Shining Pearl and whatever, you have to fight it. So I said, fuck it, I fight it, I knock it down. I don't run away. I didn't even check if it is a possibility. I think that it just stays there. And I did not catch it because narratively you are in a fight, you have to knock it down, and you should only supposed to catch it in the post game. So I knocked it down. sometimes I'm very glad I get these criticals and just don't have to think about it again. I picked up a bunch of full restores there just to be sure. Here it's annoying because yeah, you are threatened with paralysis, but when you get the paralysis your health is depleted to unacceptable levels. You won't lose actually here. Most of the Pokemon that can get here are even immune to electric moves. Like there are two that are threatened, Empoleon and one other. But they can circumvent the problem. But here, this is really the gym. I had to go out like thrice per Pokemon to heal up. I know I could have just, you know, drink a full restore or something, but then again there is the issue that the Earthquake is up there. And you really don't want to change that. So you would really have 10 PP and they have a lot more Pokemon, so you go out at one point and we'll get the healing in the Poké Center. It's just easier, simpler, although there is some 2 trainers here which you do not have to fight. So you always have to keep them in mind because they are also rotating trainers. You've seen previously that Pikachu host kids, that's one of them. But most of this gym is just Earthquake, 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 Earthquake. And I'm lucky that while in this invulnerable form, also its Earthquake is hit. Even when they try big. And I'm also glad that I could just look up the quick puzzle solution on YouTube because sometimes as the last one is maybe it's just very annoying. Here you just go and solve the puzzle, it's not really an obstacle. But you really don't want to connected move because, you know, touching them might cause paralysis. Yeah, annoyance. I will never understand why the Magnetons don't levitate. I would think that's pretty evident because that one is there's some rotating. So you make a loop around the room and you have access to a button that you did not have previously and can set in a position that you did not previously. Then the previous room is where the bottom right corner you can fight earlier, and in that case it is more advantageous because it's just closer to the exit, so if you get unlucky you don't waste that extra 5 to 10 minutes. I don't learn Dragon Rush because I don't need it here. It is a level up move, so if I absolutely need it, I will put it back with the move reminder. And yeah, the damage is not bad, it's actually good, but it's not accurate. 70% accuracy or something like that. There are 10 more battles, just 10. Here, you see, I cannot go around it. And by the way, right just the heck south of that guy, that swimmer, is a rare candy? No, Raindance. Raindance or rare candy, one of the two. That's the 2 items you pick up on this water route. The others are negligible. You can either buy them or have plenty of from other sources. And I show you, yeah, you can just move around. This this is Victory Road already. Not much as a problem, but I had to map it to check what can you reach, what can you not reach, and there are no maps that show what item ball on the ground contain what, so I have to actually make an archive save, move forward, fight some trainers, realize, check what is in the Pokeball on the ground, and then reload, because one of here is where the east side of this level of the level of the bottom is a Stone Edge, and it's locked behind a double battle. You need minions to help it, you know, use Rock Smash and Strength, so you will have the minions when you, just like in Emerald, you have that point. I think, yeah, that was it. Whatever. Here again I show you that, no, this is a very bad puzzle, because that two gray boulder you could move its strength is trolling you. Try to circumvent the trainer on the north side of it, but you actually cannot. It's a bad design, very trolly. Game Freak likes to troll its player. Okay. I just smashed its barrier. I don't know what it was, maybe it was pulse up there, or reflector, or light screen. Not following what is written out. Yeah, I cut it out, random encounters, so 2 was there. But I just wanted to show you the position of where we are and all that, because, you know, just so you know, you can identify the location. I mean, finding the trainers just by their names is hard. It killed itself. I don't know why it did that. Oh, it's not that one, but with one of the Pokemon at the last, it was the third, and cursed itself. And it killed itself. I don't know why. But in Platinum, I don't recall anything particular except the very start, the first. When you pick up your Pokemon and do the berry battle, you know, the rival battle, when it has Turtwig, it usually just does the withdraw, and with others also mostly does the status condition moves to let you win. When I realized this board has to be fought, I was so disappointed. I thought I can just climb the hill on the right side more easily. And this is the interesting part, that no matter that you are on 1 HP, if you are fast enough and pumped up your stats enough, you will win. So don't give up unless you are absolutely certain, and maybe even then try it. And I so hate Tangela. It caused me so much headache. Nothing works against it. And yeah, this was the point I had to use some elixirs or whatever. Here, it absolutely would be horrendous to get back to the start of the tunnel. You just drink some, eat some Lepaberry, drink some elixir or ether, whatever. Give yourself move points. And especially Torterra in the Victory Road that definitely needed like at least 3 hyper potions. I picked this up because I was very curious how it does. At this point it's really different from the others, because the others all have the Earthquake and Rock Slide and Swords Dance and some force move. Heracross is very trolly, you know, electric moves don't work again, despite being a bug type. Made me reload it a couple of times. Snorlax is also one of the bigger challenges against this very peak. Sleeping and paralyzes. It can do earthquakes, so it's just bad. You'd want to one-shot it ASAP. This Roserade is just not a threat. Whatever you come here with. I like that he has a special dialogue when it comes to the last Pokemon. Yeah, you got me done. Sorry. But I put up a berry to prevent the paralysis, and the next try I did pass, so... But I left it here. I was thinking to cut this out because one failed attempt was enough, but you will see why. Yeah, I think this will be the moment. Yeah, I do that, it does, and it hits below this, and I get burned. And you know, that puts you on a timer, your HP is constantly getting lowered. I get to very desperate, you know. The best thing is when you are, you know, at 1 HP and you still win. This was, I got very frustrated. I thought I will definitely fail this attempt. But I passed. And only the Elite Four remained.